This interview is brought to you by Burn Up Coaching and the 21-day challenge. So if you are an entrepreneur or high achiever, but you feel like you're vaguely dissatisfied, you've hit a plateau, you feel like you want to break through to your next level, then the 21-day challenge could be a perfect fit for you. If you want intensity, if you want high touch, a VIP experience, making sure that you get from where you are to where you want to go, your goal, your single-minded focus, you have all the support that you need to achieve it, then you can achieve that goal in 21 days. And what we'll do is we'll have daily check-ins and weekly deep dive calls to work on the subconscious limiting beliefs that are stopping you from succeeding, and that is all in your 21-day challenge. So if that's interesting for you, you're committed to breaking through to creating your best life ever, then send me a message and let me know you're interested in the 21-day challenge. I'd love to talk to you and see if it's a good fit for you. For the iTunes review of the week, it's left by Yogi Boo. Genuine and transformational. Chris has a gift for asking the right questions and a style that motivates and makes me feel great. He is living into his work and sharing it in a meaningful way that will inspire you to take big leaps. I highly recommend it. So Yogi Boo, thank you so much for leaving that review for us. And if you want to leave us a review in the audience, you're listening right now, you're watching, you love it, you want to support us, definitely do that. Go to beyourgps.com/iTunes. We appreciate you if you do that and you help us out, you support us. Let us know what you love about the show. Let us know what you want us to improve and give us that feedback. Or you can search Becoming Greatest Possible Self on iTunes or search it on Facebook and leave a review there as well. Thank you so much in advance for doing that. Now for the woman of the hour, Michele Molitor. Michele is the founder and CEO of Nectar Consulting, Inc. and co-author of the best-selling book, Breakthrough Healing. She works with executives and entrepreneurs, bringing over 25 years of experience, intuitive insights, and strategic business savvy to their success. She is an expert at enhancing the capacity of leaders to build high-performing teams and exponentially increase bottom-line results. Michele, are you ready to rock this house? She is. Awesome. I love it. I love your energy. You are now live on Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self. Thanks for joining us today. We appreciate you.
So happy to be here, Chris. Thanks for having me. Hey, everybody.
Awesome. So we're going to dive right into the theme of the day, the question of the day, which is 0 to 60 real fast. So Michele, how has this concept of going from stuck or stopped or not getting what you want to in life to boom, lightning fast results, how has that played a part in your life? And tell us more about how you've done that in your life as well.
Sure. No, I'm thrilled to be here and share this with you because I'm terribly impatient, Chris. Like, how can I go faster, be more, expand, fill my brain as fast as possible?
Yes.
And so it's all about how do you get out of your own way, right? And what I've learned over my journey over the last 17 years as a coach is that we have our own stuck spots. We have our own limiting beliefs, those bits and fragments that are gotten embedded in our subconscious that we don't even know are there, but yet they're running as ragged. They're driving the bus, if you will, and we don't even know that the driver's there doing it, right? And so I've been on my own quest through my journey to get out of my own way. And how do I do that and continue to unlayer, remove the shields and the protective mechanisms that my brain has put into place, unbeknownst to me, right?
Yes.
So I discovered coaching for myself back in 2000. I used to be a creative director in web development. And I very quickly was moved across the country to take this high, fancy, falutin job for this global web development company. Was about to IPO. Hurry, we're gonna IPO. We need you on board, right? I'm like, great, I got a golden ticket. It's gonna be super exciting. Woo! And the week I started, the week we were set to IPO was the week the market crashed. Oh, darn Margie. And then 9 months later, we tried to IPO again. The market crashed again, and then I got laid off. So it was a horrible downfall of all sorts of things in so many different ways, shapes, and forms. But ultimately, because of the circumstances, it really left my confidence crushed in the process. And so I discovered coaching then to help me figure out, well, what the heck do I do now? Because that was really painful and I don't want to do that again.
Wow.
And so it was, the beginning of how do I get out of my own way? How do I reclaim my confidence and pick myself back up and get going again?
Right.
And so in the process of being coached, I discovered my life's work. I was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, right? I was a psychology major in college, and so it's like, it's like all the pieces kind of fell into place. So I courageously started my own company and got trained and certified, and off to the races I went, not knowing what I didn't know.
Wow. My gosh. So you just dove in, and like, I love how it was through a breakdown, like life was difficult for you then, and you had to get through it somehow. You had to find your source of strength, remember who you are. So you hired a coach, and it was through that process of seeing yourself transform and the experience of working with your coaches and those processes. You're like, oh my gosh, this is perfect for me. And of course, like, I have this psychology, background, and how do I apply this? How do I integrate this? So I love how everything came full circle for you to fulfill on who you are, your greatest possible self.
Yeah, well, I realized, in hindsight, our greatest source of pain is often our greatest source of power.
Yes.
When you can take that pain and turn it around into a gift that you can give to others, that's purpose, that's fulfillment, that's living in alignment with your true self. And so over the years, I've continually sharpened my saw, fed my brain, got new different trainings and certifications and learning from, teachers and masters from around the world. I've been very, very blessed in that sense. And with each new tool in my toolbox, it's just more that I'm able to share with my clients, right? The other thing too, and this, right? We can only go as high with our clients as deeply as we're willing to go within ourselves.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so it's a constant learning and growth that we do as coaches, so that we can remove our own barriers, get our slate as clean as possible, so that we can be that empty vessel for our clients to show up in. I have a value called ocean. And to me, ocean is being a vast, wide, deep container of love that allows my clients to step into, swim about in, thrash about in, yell, cry, scream, snot out their face, whatever they need, but knowing that they're safe in this space, that they're truly listened to and seen and heard and respected, right? Because that's ultimately what we want as human beings, right?
Yeah.
So I love being able to do that for my clients and, anybody I meet, quite frankly, because it's all about that. I see you.
Yes. It's that there's that presence, right? Like you said, I see you. It's presence to someone's soul, to their deepest, most intimate, realist parts. And that's life, just being able to connect at that level is I think what we're all seeking and searching for so much more of.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Social media is a powerful tool, and we've all kind of gotten separated because we sit behind our computers all day. Right. But now that technology has expanded, we can have this kind of communication, even though I'm in my house and you're probably in your house.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And build community in whole new ways that tribes never imagined 50,000 years ago.
Yeah, it's incredible. We're definitely blessed. So I want to get into Nectar Consulting. Tell us a little bit more about that and what you stand for as a brand and as a company. Just give our audience and listener an overview of what that is.
Sure. Well, I stumbled into entrepreneurship, as I mentioned earlier, because I didn't know what other path to take. I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. And so I started my coaching practice back in 2001, and I've been doing it ever since. And The name Nectar Consulting actually came to me in a dream.
Wow.
I have this amazing painting that I discovered when I was first looking into coaching. It's called Like Honey to a Bee. And um, for me, Nectar Consulting represents, the bee goes from flower to flower, and then it takes the pollen, the essence of that flower, and then it goes back and it creates honey. And the honey is the food that sustains the bee to go and do his work out in the world.
Yeah.
And so it's really about helping individuals find their essence, see their natural brilliance, their beauty, their genius, shine it back to them, so then they can go out into the world and do their good works and be on purpose and live their most authentic, joyful life, because that's what we all want, right?
Yeah.
Do what you love what you do.
Yeah, I also love that when I think of a bee, I think of, the flying bee, but I also think of bee like being,
Yes.
so like integrated into the nectar and into the sweetness is the bee who makes it happen, which is the being, more of the spiritual, esoteric kind of like who you're being and how you're showing up, which I love, which is super powerful to get people present to that.
Yeah, I have a Goffin cockatoo named Alice.
Uh-huh.
And Alice is large and in charge. And I tried to teach her many years ago, who are you being? Right? But she only got the who part. So she says, who are you doing sometimes instead of what are you doing? Like, that's so close.
So close.
Yes.
A for effort.
Yes, exactly.
Love it. Awesome. So let's go back into the journey a little bit more. Now that you've shared about what Nectar Consulting is all about, I love it. I love the the ocean that you provide for your clients, and I'm sure we'll get into more of that. And going back to the journey, you mentioned a little bit about the crash, about how your company formed. Was there any other really big formative events for you, or big ahas of wisdom, of learning lessons that you think is really pivotal for your experience, that made the difference, that had you show up as the Michele that's in front of us today?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, Chris. There's two that I want to share with you. The first one, the day actually I got laid off from my fancy director of experience design job that I used to have. I went home and I called my mom. Mom, I'm having a bad day. I lost my job. And my mother's very stoic, and she was upset. And I found out that she wasn't upset with me, though. She was upset that a very dear friend was dying.
Wow.
And so I found in that moment, I was like, wow, okay, so what? I lost my job. My friend Al is dying. And I thought, well, tomorrow I'm going on vacation. Friday, I'll get back. It'll be the first day of the rest of my life. I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do, pull my big girl panties on and get out there and do it. And that Friday morning, my dad called me to tell me that Al had passed away. And it was tragic in that Al let himself die, because he was a very closeted gay man in a small town and didn't know how to be who he was authentically. And so he literally let himself die. And it breaks my heart every time I tell this story, because it's tragic. And so in that moment, on that day, I swore to myself and to spirit above, like, okay, I can't live my life from a place of fear. I have to figure out what needs to be done and go do it, even though I'm petrified. But I can't allow my light to be diminished or snuffed out because of that fear. And so that was really the driving factor that had me like, okay, I'm going to start my own company. I have no idea what that looks like or what I'm supposed to do, but I'll figure it out because I'm creative and resourceful. Okay. Right. So that was that very first pivotal moment. The second one came not too long ago, actually about 2 years ago. I discovered the work of Marissa Peer. She's a world-renowned hypnotherapist. And, I'm constantly sharpening my saw and trying to get out of my own way, right? And there was a few stuck spots that I still, no matter what I tried, I hadn't been able to remove them. And so in doing this work with Marissa, literally in a few short weeks, I was able to move blocks that had been stifling me for years.
Wow.
I was like, oh my gosh. It was just like,
wow.
the lid popped off.
Hmm.
And so when she started training people in her body, her life's work, essentially, I was like, bing, bing. And so I've gone on to get trained and certified as an advanced rapid transformational therapy practitioner, and have combined it with my coaching. And so when I discovered this, it was that moment again where all the cells in my body came into alignment. It was like, oh, I know that this is this next level of mastery that I need to accomplish, because I know it will allow me to do my life's work in a much bigger way and be on even more on purpose. Yes. So it's been an extraordinary addition to my life, and my work has transformed because of it. And it allows me to help people create massive breakthroughs in 30 days or less. You know, therapy is great, but it can take years. Coaching is fantastic and can take 6 months to a year. Yeah. I've developed a process called a 30-day rapid rewiring breakthrough, which combines both rapid transformational therapy and coaching together and creates these massive breakthroughs inside of 30 days. And so I love it. It lights me up every day when I get to do it.
Dang, that's awesome. I love it. I love it. So I want to dive into this. What actually happens in that rewiring? Let's start diving into what are the levers that you're pulling? Give us the overview of how it all works, and then let's dive into more of the tactical stuff of like what's really going on.
Sure. Well, over my years of being a coach, Chris, I've really gotten into the neuroscience of all of this. How do our brains work? Why do we do what we do? Why do we get stuck? Right. And why do some people have unlimited amounts of confidence and other people are like, oh, I can't, right? What's the difference? And I really have been on a mission to figure that out because of my own confidence collapse, shall we? Yeah. That happened so many years ago, and it took me years to rebuild my confidence. I'm like, why is it so hard? I don't understand. And so through, studying neuroscience and physics and energetics, I've really come to learn the nuanced details of that. And so essentially, one of the principles of the mind is your brain can't hold two conflicting beliefs. Right. So if you have a conscious belief that says, oh, I know I can be successful. Yes, I can have a 6-figure business. No problem. But you have a subconscious belief that says, oh, no, you're not good enough. You're not worthy. Money is bad, wrong, evil, whatever that subconscious belief is. It creates an energetic kind of pinging back and forth. And it creates that stuck sensation, right? Where you can't quite get beyond it. And so in the work that I do now, through hypnosis, I'm able to help someone literally drop down into a very relaxed state where their subconscious mind is fully awake and present and listening, but their conscious, critical thinking mind kind of takes a nap for a little while. And in that process, I'm able to talk with their subconscious to find out what's at the root cause, the reason for this particular block. And the amazing thing is that your subconscious remembers everything that's ever happened to you, right? So it's like going into the filing system, right? It goes out and it pulls up the files that you need and gives us the data. And then we kind of literally piece it together, connect the dots as to what created this particular limiting belief. So let me give you a great example. I had one client who came to me who was dealing with severe depression and anxiety and chronic migraines, right? It was getting in her way of her career. And through this process, we were able to see that as a 3-year-old little girl, she created this migraine as a way for her to check out because of the stress and anxiety she was being dealt with because of her alcoholic mother, right? A 3-year-old has no way to cope with that kind of stress. And so there's a part of your brain called the amygdala. right? And the amygdala is your fight or flight mechanism. I like to call her Amy. Amy's your amygdala. Amy loves you. Amy just wants to protect you and keep you safe, right? That's her sole purpose in life. And if Amy perceives something to be a threat, she will make copious notes, right? And she locks that into your subconscious, and it stays there. And it will stay there infinitum until you consciously go and change the belief, right? So this client had a belief that at age 3, I have to be hyper vigilant to take care of my infant sister because my mother's not doing it, right? But I don't know how to do that because I'm just 3. So let me get a migraine so I can literally go to sleep and not worry for a little while, right? It was a way of protecting herself from all the stress and anxiety she was dealing from. And so coupled with some of the other data points that came up, she was able to see now as a 49-year-old woman, oh, I'm not that helpless little child anymore. I can let go of that belief. I don't need that protective mechanism anymore, and I can let it go. Wow. So then we create that understanding, that aha, that allows the letting go process to happen. And then that's where the rewiring comes in. I create a customized recording while they're still in hypnosis that lays in new empowering beliefs, new thoughts, new behaviors that support this place that we want to go instead, that overwrites the old beliefs. And then I mix in some binaural music and I send it off to them, and they listen to this recording every day for 21 days. Wow. And in that listening, they're literally building new neural pathways in their brain, because your brain likes repetition. The more you think a thought, the more true it becomes for you, right? So if you're thinking a thought, I'm not good enough, I'm bad, I'm wrong, that's the reality you will create for yourself. But if you think, I am good enough, I am capable, I am worthy, and I am lovable, whatever that story is, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. The more you listen to that, the more you say that to yourself, the more true it becomes. And it literally creates powerful transformation in people's lives. So it's astounding. It really is.
I'm
it
excited.
blows my mind every day.
I'm excited just hearing about this, because like we know that there's deeper things that are driving us as human beings. You know, we don't have the answer to everything as a conscious awake person, but in our subconscious mind that stores all the answers that we need, but we haven't been taught how to access it, how to change it, how to reshape it. And I mean, we've been taught about affirmations and stuff, but we always, I think I can speak on behalf of entrepreneurs and people who do the law of attraction. There's always more to it than just the affirmations. Like, we have to dig in, we have to uncover what gets in the way, because like you said, if there's a conscious belief that says I can do it, but then there's an unconscious, deeper rooted belief that says, well, I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable, whatever, money's bad, all these kinds of things that people make up, like, we're able to shift that and be able to create the life of our dreams. So I love that you are helping people literally step into their dreams within 30 days. That's incredible.
Yeah, it really is extraordinary. You know, I feel so blessed to have discovered Marissa Peer's work and working with her in different ways, to not only transform my life, but now to help transform, you know, the lives of people all around the world. I do my work virtually over Zoom, just like this. Wow. And it works beautifully, right? Yeah, so it's amazing, the shifts, because, you know, people often come to me with, oh, I want to grow my business, right? That's the surface level. Right. But underneath that, yeah, I'd also like to get rid of this physical condition that keeps popping up every time I try to get rid of, you know, to take my life to the next level. Right. And so stress, that dis-ease that comes with stress, creates disease in our bodies, right? You know, one of my favorite quotes is, emotions that cannot find their expression in tears will cause other organs to weep.
Wow.
And so if you don't find a way to get those emotions out of your body, to process those chemicals literally that are surging through your body, over time, they will build up and come out in other ways, whether that's stress, anxiety, depression, cholesterol, weight, hair loss, just, sleeplessness, lack of motivation, lack of focus. It comes 1,000 different ways. It can, show up as addictions, alcoholism, drug addictions, sex addictions, so many different things, all because we're not learning how to properly express our emotions. I look at the state of the world right now, unfortunately, and there's so much heartache and there's so much pain and suffering that's going on out there, and we're not addressing the root causes, right? We're not addressing how do we allow ourselves to feel. It's okay to feel. It's okay to cry. It's okay to get these things out, because the alternative is heart disease, stroke, illness, cancer, and so much more.
Wow. So I almost hear that there should be forums and venues for people to go, learn how to release, learn how to de-stress, like to be able to share their problems, their struggles. Not so much of a like a therapist, although that is a potential, that's a possibility. But I would say more of like a community thing, like your local city hall where people are able to just like share and vent, but to be heard so that it disappears, so they don't keep that disease held in. I think there's primitive models of this in execution, but I think we can take it to a whole nother level of being able to share and release that pain and have people come together and share these pains with a spirit of harmony, with a spirit of resolution, with a spirit of commitment to peace. So I love that you're saying this, because I totally agree.
Yeah, and I agree with you. There are certainly ways that could happen, and there are examples of that. For example, I think this is why AA is such a powerful community for so many people who have different types of addictions,
right?
Because that's essentially what it is. It's a small community where they feel safe. They're able to communicate what's going on and just be seen and heard without judgment. And that's essentially what we all want. We want to be seen, heard, and loved and respected for who we are and what we bring to the world, because we're all unique. We're all amazing and rare and brilliant, shiny human beings, even though when we don't feel like it.
Yes, we are. So, Michele, how do we start shifting some of these beliefs? How can we start? Do you have any exercises or things that you would recommend for our listener who can be able to execute on rewiring, to be able to execute on taking steps in the right direction, to be more confident, to be more empowered?
Yeah, well, absolutely. There's things that we can do individually without doing the deep dive work that I'm talking about. But you can absolutely start with just taking some time to reflect. Like, what are the places that are hurting inside of me? What is it that part of me wants to express? I found through all of my years of work that one of the most common themes is just simply not feeling enough. Am I enough? Am I good enough? Am I smart enough? Am I something enough? Because we get messages from all around us, particularly growing up, whether it's from other kids or our siblings or our parents or teachers or whomever. Oh, you didn't do it right. You weren't good enough. You missed the mark. You didn't get the A, you got a B, or you only got a B plus. What's wrong with you? And they're subtle things, but they get embedded very quickly because our young minds are like sponges. They just take in information. And so if we take that example, being enough, right? Start by telling yourself, I am enough. I am enough. 3 simple words. Write it on your mirror, put it on a sticky, put it on your computer, put it on your bathroom, put it in your car, anywhere and everywhere, to remind yourself, I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. And the more you say it, the more you repeat it, you'll actually start to believe it. Like, oh, yeah, I think I am. And that changes everything. When you can just get that one simple little thing, like, I am enough, I'm lovable, I'm worthy, I'm capable, I'm confident, whatever that word is for you, insert I am, fill in the blank. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Right. And because the more you tell yourself that, the more true it becomes for you. And as you do that, it's kind of like fake it till you make it. Like, okay, I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. And oh yeah, I am enough. And, it's been one of the pivotal things for me, quite frankly, in realizing that. I didn't, in all of the thousands of hours of coaching and training and work that I've done on myself, there was still that disbelief that I had. And once I eliminated that, it was like, oh, things opened up at a whole new level that shifted my confidence even further and expanded it. Like, oh, what was I ever worried about? I don't even remember. It's fascinating because it starts to disappear all the old worries and stories and conversations we have about ourselves. And that's when the magic really starts to happen.
Wow, that's incredible. So it's literally just starts by declaring I am enough, or I am lovable, or I am whatever that is that we have been wounded by, but also the part of reflection so that we know what to target. So, what part of me wants to be heard or felt or recognized, what is this pain coming from? What about these lack of results? Where is this coming from? What am I attempting to tell myself? What message have I been looking past or looking over that would have told me why this is going on and would have given me a clue so that I can be able to deal with it properly?
Yeah, and you don't always get the clues, but the one thing you can do, Chris, and for everyone who's listening, is just for a week, take a little notepad and write down what's the predominant theme song that's playing in your head. Is it, am I good enough? Am I smart enough? I'm not worthy. I'm not lovable. I can't do this. Oh, I'm going to screw this up again. Oh, is it positive or negative? I always say, is it above the waterline? I.e., is it positive? I'm happy. I'm joyful. I'm excited. I'm ecstatic. That's all above the waterline.
Right.
Below the waterline is, I'm bored, I'm unhappy, I'm angry, I'm mad, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm despondent, right? And so notice what percentage of your thoughts are above the line and what percentage of your thoughts are below the line in any given day. And write down what are those predominant messages you keep telling yourself, right? Because your mind only responds to two things: the words you say to yourself and the pictures that you think about, right? So if the pictures in your head and the words in your head are all negative, guess what? You're going to create a negative reality for yourself, right? But you have the power to choose what you're telling yourself in any given moment. So if you catch yourself like, oh, wow, I just caught myself being all down and poopy on myself, then like, okay, what do I want to feel instead? And declare it. Okay, well, in this moment, I'm declaring I am enough. I am capable. I am confident. Even if you don't believe it, keep telling yourself that, right? Because eventually you'll catch up with yourself.
Yes, definitely. I love it. And I love the above the line or below the line. It's another way to visualize the positive or negative. And I also love that we're talking about the pictures and the words, because that's what will end up reflecting out in our external environment. It's like everything on the inside gets reflected to the outside. So is there any other curious things or interesting things that you've discovered about neurology and the brain and how that works? Anything else popped out to you recently in the last couple of weeks or months that was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing? Have you discovered anything like that?
Always. I'm a bit of a bookworm. So I'm literally, you can see the stacks of books I have here in my library. There's literally 4 or 5 that I'm always reading at any given time.
That's awesome.
Right. To learn more and how our brains work and why they work and how do we shift things. And, along with the neuroscience, I also have gotten into the physics and the energetics of it, right? So along that same theme line of being above the line or below the line, the more positive you are energetically, you literally vibrate at a higher frequency, right? It's all science. That's what's so cool about it. It's all just science. And the more sad you are or mad or depressed, the lower your frequency. And so, the trick is how do you spin your energy up to a higher vibration? Because then the law of attraction kicks in, which energetically like attracts like. So if you're vibrating at a higher frequency, guess what? You will attract to you other high vibrating people, circumstances, and opportunities. And the converse is true. If you're really negative or sad or upset, you're going to attract more of those circumstances. So, for example, have you ever, started your day by accidentally smashing your toe against the bed? And you're like, oh my God. And then things start to go down the rabbit hole from there. Like, and then this broke and this went bad and then traffic and then, right? It's the same thing. And so when you can catch yourself, then you're like, okay, come back to a present moment of gratitude, right? What am I grateful for right now? Well, I have a roof over my head. I have food in the refrigerator. I have a car to drive. I have amazing people to talk with in my world, whatever that is for you, because that will help to shift your energy and start to bring it up to a higher level, right? And there's another fun fact of this energy. So, our bodies are 60 to 70% water, right? And through the science and the experiments of Dr. Emoto, who wrote a book called Message in the Water, he found that the intentions that you put into water literally physically change the crystalline structure. So he would put negative intentions on water and then freeze it and look at it under a microscope. And the crystal structures would be distorted and ugly. But when he put positive intentions like love and gratitude and grace on water and froze it and stuck it under a microscope, it came out with these beautiful, beautiful crystal structures, right? So if you apply that to your body, what are you telling yourself? Are you telling yourself negativity? Because that's creating a really negative effect in the water in your entire body, right? So like on my water bottle, I always have all sorts of fun words like thank you and gratitude and health and prosperity and well-being.
Do you buy the water bottle like that, or do you print out like words?
Oh, I found these. They're kind of clear plastic stickery things, and I just stick them on.
Cool. Yeah.
And I have them on my mirror. I have them all sorts of places. But awesome. It's just about, what's the intention that I want to fill myself up with? Because as you do that, again, you're raising your own vibration, and standing more authentically in who your soul wants you to be. Right? Because we're all radiant beings when we allow ourselves to be.
Yeah, just some people have gotten some layers of dirt and mud and stuff.
Yes. they got extra junk in their trunk they just have to get rid of. Carrying it around for too long. And oftentimes the junk they picked up is not even theirs. They might have been handed to them by their parents or their siblings or who knows.
Yeah, there's an awesome analogy that people use. Would you let someone come into your house, into your room, and open up a trash bag and dump their trash all over the floor, all over your room, all over your house? It's like, no. Okay, then why do you let people into your life and into your mind, into your space, into your conversations who dump their trash and their toxicity in your mind, and you don't do anything about it? It's like the same thing, but a lot of people haven't been trained to recognize they have a choice to put up the boundaries to do that.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. I love that. Just say no to energy vampires, right?
Yep. Yep. Exactly. So in terms of where you see Nectar Consulting going, what do you see as the future, as the vision for that, and how you're making the biggest impact possible on the people around you and the communities that are important to you?
Well, my goal is to be of service to more people all around the planet, and I do that in a couple of different ways. One way I do that, I have a group that I formed about 2 years ago called Wonder Women Unite.
Ooh.
And it's a support group for amazing women, entrepreneurs, executives, moms, sisters, all over the globe. And so it's Wonder Woman Unite with an exclamation point, ladies. On Facebook, you can find it there. And every month on the third Friday of the month, we have a support call, and it's different conversations about how to reclaim your voice, step into your power, and really live your best authentic life. So we just had our July call last week. We had our special guest, Lucy McGonigal, on there talking about how do you create more abundance in your life. So I had different guests that come on. We do it on Zoom like this. We record them, and they're all up on my website. So it's free. It's just something I enjoy doing as a way to give back to women around the world and be of service. I also, do my one-on-one work that we've been talking about, but I also take this into organizations as well. So I do leadership development training, team development work, and to help make organizations run more effectively so that everybody's aligned, doing their good work, operating from their natural genius most effectively more of the time, right? Because when we can operate from our genius, our sweet spot, as I like to call it, where your values, your passion, your purpose, your natural talents all come into alignment, that creates that intrinsic motivation that allows you to be of greater service. You're more productive, you're happier, you're satisfied. So when you ripple that out across your whole team, well, now you're cooking with gas, right?
Yes.
And it creates a whole organization that's on fire. So I do that as well. And it's amazing to me to watch people, like the light bulbs go off of like, oh, I get myself at a whole new way, a different layer, a deeper layer that allows me to stand up and speak my truth in a good way to be of greater service and contribution, because essentially we all just want to be of contribution, bring our light to the world in different ways, shapes, and forms.
Yeah. Wow, that's beautiful. So you're doing this team development, you're working with organizations, you have this Wonder Women Unite group, and I know you wrote a book in the past. Tell us more about that book, and what was the process of creating that? How did that go, and what lessons did you learn from that?
Yes, and I should have a copy of it here, and I don't. Shame on me. Faux pas. Something happened here on my desk. Oh, dang. I blew that one, didn't I? It's called Breakthrough Healing, and it just came out in February. And it is a compilation. There's 6 different writers in it, and they're all different types of alternative healers, if you will. And so it shares our stories, our individual stories of the work that we do and how we help people naturally break through to that next level of health and well-being and success in the many, many facets that can be. So,
wow.
Yeah, it was really fun. A colleague of mine, Jane Tabachnik, she's the publisher,
Mm-hmm.
Good Press,
Mm-hmm.
and she called me up just last year. It was like, "Hey, do you want to be a part of this book that I'm creating called Breakthrough Healing?" And I'm like, "Yes."
Yes.
So the other co-authors are amazing. I was just literally on a podcast yesterday with Wei Hong, who is one of the
Ooh,
co-authors. His podcast is called The Money Lab, and we were
awesome.
talking about money conversations. So yeah, it's created a really interesting ripple effect in the people that I've been able to connect with and share. And I actually got Marissa Peer to write the foreword for the book as well, and
Wow.
it shares more about the my 30-day rapid rewiring program and how amazing rapid transformational therapy is and the
Mm.
benefits of all of that for folks. Because we all have the power to heal ourselves.
Mm.
Um, and we don't even know it. You know, we think that we have to go to the doctor to get a pill, but sadly,
Mm.
Western medicine um, doesn't always address the root cause.
Mm.
It just addresses the symptoms. You
Right.
know, sadly, they hand out antidepressants like candy,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not a it's not a serotonin deficit in your brain that's causing your depression. It's you're not expressing your authentic self. You're not
Mm.
feeling your feelings fully because you
Mm.
didn't think you were allowed to.
Mm.
There's a great book that I just started reading called Lost Connections,
Mm.
the 9 reasons for depression,
Mm.
um, based on the work of this journalist who um, was told as a kid who was chronically depressed, oh, well, you just have, you know, you don't have enough serotonin in your brain. So this pill will help. And he's like, oh, great, I have a pill, I'm fixed. But as his therapist over the next 10 years pointed out to him, no, you're not fixed. You're
Mm.
still depressed. And you keep
Mm.
upping the dosage and you're still here. He's like,
Wow.
oh, right. I am still here. Maybe I need to explore this further. And it was in the doing the deeper work, he realized, oh, I was misinformed.
Mm.
My brain is fine. And there are other things that I need to do. So breakthrough healing is a great compilation of different ways of creating that healing within ourselves by
Mm.
tapping into the power of your mind and your body and your spirit to create that wholeness, that wellness,
Mm.
that joie de vivre, if you will. So we have more happiness in our lives, less
Yes,
stress.
please. Yes, please. We are all about more happiness. I love it. And I love that you teamed up with people to write the book, cuz I think that's such an amazing strategy for entrepreneurship these days, is to collaborate and work with other people to joint venture on projects to be able to impact more people, because who knows how many more people found out about you, Michele, because you partnered up with these people, because you created a work of art, a masterpiece, and you had, you know, the your mentor, your teacher, your coach, who came and wrote the foreword for the book, because like you had that great connection with her, and who knows how much credibility that added to these other participants in the book as well. So I just love the idea of bringing in other people. I do a 12-hour marathon interviewing 9 guests a week, so I mean, you could tell. I love it.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
it.
You could tell a whole lot of stories, right? Yeah. And, you know, I appreciate you saying that, Chris, because it is, you know, none of us are in this alone.
Mm.
We all have people who are here to support us. I mean, if you think about it too much, it'll actually blow your mind. Like just the fact that we're on a computer, we're connected via the internet magically, and we're seeing each other and having this conversation real time, and millions of people, hopefully
Yep.
millions of people around the
Yep.
world,
Yep.
are seeing it as well at the same time. It's like,
Mm.
how does that happen? You know, yes, I'm here in my home by myself with some critters, but I'm not alone because it took all those people to
Mm.
create this physical thing, this
Mm.
internet thing, et cetera, et cetera. Um, yeah. So it's like when you look at it that way, it's like, wow, okay, how can I operate in a community of like-minded
Mm.
folks to create the positive ripple effects that I want to help facilitate in the world of helping people, stand more confidently in their truth, their authentic selves, and be who they are instead of I have to be who my parents told me I had to be, or my society, or my religion, or my ethnicity. All of those things shape us, but ultimately it's ours to declare of who we really want to be and what that means in the world without fear, without judgment, just like, oh, this is just me. And some people might like it and some people might not. And that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. And owning ourselves with the ability to express ourselves, kind of circling back to that forum we were talking about earlier to express ourselves. And then we talked about these people who are repressing their emotions, repressing their thoughts, what they want to experience, but they don't feel safe to do it. Or, there's all the shame and guilt and stories around why they should have to keep doing it, why they have to keep suffering, why they have to endure the pain. So I love that there are options. There are choices that people can make, and especially to move forward with you with rapid transformation, for them to find the books that they're looking for, to find the courses, the CDs, the documentaries, whatever is out there that will help them move a step in the right direction. That's what we're all about here at Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self, and definitely working one-on-one with people or through specific programs, courses, seminars, trainings. That's in my opinion the fastest way to get there, the fastest shortcut to bypass all of the banging our heads against the walls. There's still a degree of trial and error, and I think it's important to be willing to take that next step, and also to receive the guidance and the gifts that you, Michele, and other people like you have developed. You've developed yourself into a tactical weapon of transformation, right? Or a tactical.
Oh, I like that. I'm a tactical weapon of transformation. Boom! Like that.
Or a tactical magic wand of transformation. Whatever.
I
have
a magic wand. Wait, ready? Here it is. Here's my magic wand.
I love it.
Super powerful.
So it's like we can tap into those resources and the people and the wisdom and the mindset that will get us in the right direction. So, Michele, thank you so much for the gifts that you bring to the world and everything that you do for people. I really, really acknowledge you for what you do. And at this point, we want to know, how do we stay connected with you? Let's recap the Rapid Rewire and what that's all about, and how people can stay connected with you and what we want them to do next.
Sure, absolutely. Well, there's a couple different ways that folks can connect with me. First and foremost, you can go to my website, Nectar Consulting, Nectar consulting.com, and you can read more about my work. You can find a time on my calendar for a complimentary discovery session. I'm happy to have a chat with folks who are feeling stuck, looking to create positive change in their life, and see if it's a good fit, if I'm the right person to help you, because I'm not the right person for everybody. That's fine. So I'm happy to have that time to talk with someone. You can also find me on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram under Rapid Rewire, on Twitter, Michele Molitor, Rapid Rewire. So many different ways, shapes, and forms to connect with me. There's also the Wonder Woman Unite tribe here on Facebook. And I'm actually launching a new group course in the fall as well, called Unlock Your Brilliance. And if folks, that will be a 5-week course all about tapping into your purpose and reclaiming it for yourself. So if that's something that's of interest, folks can just reach out through a discovery session with me on my website and get an application to look into that further. But so, working with me one-on-one, working with me in groups, joining in on my monthly Wonder Woman Unite calls, etc. Seeing what I'm up to on Facebook. I'm always posting inspirational ideas and thoughts and resources for people, because I'm a sharer, Chris. I'm a sharer. So I just absorb stuff and then I pass it along, right? That's all this is about. So the more I get to share, the happier I am.
So amazing. So amazing. Michele, again, you are incredible, and I love the gifts that you are giving to people. The gift of freedom, the gift of confidence, the gift of more performance in their business and in their life so that they can be fulfilled, be happy, and finally let go of the conversation of not being enough, not being worthy, not being lovable, whatever is in the way of them being their greatest possible self. I appreciate you, and I really acknowledge you for what you're doing in the world. And for everyone who is listening, take action. Definitely stay connected with Michele. Get one of those strategy sessions. It sounds mighty appetizing to me too. I might just do one just to see what's in my future, what's in my horizon. So Michele, thank you for what you do, and keep up the amazing creation.
Oh, thank you so much, Chris. Such a pleasure to be here with you today. You have such radiant light, and you're doing an amazing job and giving this gift of yourself and all of these wonderful people through your show every week. So thank you. Spread the love is always a good thing. And so I wish everybody the best today, to have an amazing day. And remember, you are absolutely enough. You always have been, and you always will be.
Thank you, Michele. You rock. Have the best day ever, and we'll see you soon, okay?
All right. Blessings. Bye.